What she said. So yes, thank you for joining us again. So this week, we're just gonna make something simple that I make a few times a month. It's a loaf of bread. It's a recipe from my mother-in-law, and it's delicious. It's whole wheat bread. I have had a headache all weekend, so I just wanted to do something kind of easy. I also had a thought to carve this pumpkin that I got, but then I realized it wouldn't last until Halloween carved, so we'll do that probably the week before Halloween. And with this recipe, the ingredient amounts as is are too big for my ingredient for the bread maker pan that I have. So I 3/4'd everything, so it's a lot of odd sized amounts. Like the yeast we need, and I have everything scrawled on here. I need a 5/4 teaspoon plus another 1/16 teaspoon of yeast. So I have everything measured out. And let's get started. We've got some, you can have this. She's been wanting to touch the butter since I cubed it up. So we've got our water.
I like to not eat them.
We've got maple syrup.
On the whisk.
Yeah, the whisk broke. The little cute little whisk that matches this bowl. Right as we were start to record, I had turned on her camera and she got so excited that she flung her arms, and the whisk handle was ceramic, so it shattered on the floor. So no more little whisk. But we can put the butter in now. So you can lift the butter. Good job. So we had a lot of just random things going on this week. I got my mail-in ballot, so that's almost all filled out. Instead of mailing it in, I can drop it off at an early voting place. All of the early voting places will accept the mail-in ballots, and our early voting starts on the 19th. So I have most of it filled out. My ballot is 4 pages long because there were some like local stuff like Constitution and judges and stuff like that. So I have to read a little bit more about those things, but I'll be ready to drop it off on the 19th. And did we get our flu shots?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got our food.
We got our flu shots, and she was so good. She was so excited leading up to it, and she knew she was gonna get it in her arm, and we went to a CVS to do it, and she even went first when it was our turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had a little hole in your arm?
Mm-hmm. And it hurt, so that way he put a band-aid on.
That's right, yeah. And then it stopped hurting. Yay!
We got our food.
We got the flu shots. And we also went to the library. She got 6 books out of the library this time. I was going to limit her to 5, and we had 4, and she had 2 books, and I gotta say no to library books. Do you like Unicorn and Yeti?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you like the Nerdy Babies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Berenstain Bears?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all so good. So those are our wet ingredients. Now we'll start with, this is probably the most normal measurement. It's 1.5 cups of whole wheat. Oh, and I'm using a bread maker if that wasn't clear. I don't really use it too much anymore, but this is specifically a bread maker recipe, and it's really good. I don't cook it in the bread maker, so I let it do its mixing and rising and everything in the bread maker, and then on the last beeping, I take it out and let it do its final rise in the loaf pan that I'm gonna bake it in. Oh, and that was bread flour, and now we have some powdered milk and salt, and finally, yeast. All right, so I'm gonna pop this in the bread maker. And also what I'm going to do, since we have the oven running, is I'm gonna take that leftover cookie dough from last week out of the freezer and bake those up too, because we finished the brookies.
But I want to have chocolate, please.
You wanna have chocolate? She licked the peanut butter cup that I had yesterday. That was probably the the most she's liked chocolate, she wouldn't take a bite of it. She got excited about the peanut butter being in there. We also went to Disney Springs. And we had breakfast. Yeah. It was a Friday again, and it wasn't busy because it's first thing in the morning. We were actually the first cars in the parking lot. The parking lot was closed when we got there, so they had to open the gates for us. But it did get, I'm gonna say, crowded. More people showed up sooner than I guess would have liked, or that I saw last week, or that happens on, say, a Tuesday when we used to go. So I think we'll try going on Tuesdays again. My work schedule's pretty light those days. I thought maybe instead of just showing you, the exact same thing we did the week before, I was going to look for some fall decorations or something, but they didn't really have too much. They had Halloween stuff, but that was mostly merchandise in the stores. But it was still a fun trip. I'll throw in a little footage. We got some new stools for our kitchen island. They're really nice. Yeah, they're a little wobbly, so they're having somebody come out next week to fix them.
These are a little wobbly.
They're a little wobbly.
They're too wobbly.
Yeah.
And one is not wobbly.
No, one is not wobbly. That's right. And we sat up there playing Uno yesterday. That was fun. Oh, so I got news that the Disney Marathon and the Princess Half Marathon weekends, which are January and February respectively, have both been converted to virtual. So I decided to do the virtual of the, I do 10Ks, but the January one, the marathon weekend, I'm doing it virtual. I can sign her up because they weren't doing registrations for kids races. But now that they've converted them, you can sign up. And I hadn't been able to register for the Princess one because it filled up too quickly. But now that it's virtual, there are spots open again. So might do that. Someone in our neighborhood saw me wearing my shirt from 2 years ago, I think. And she said she was doing it. So we talked about maybe putting a team together to run around the neighborhood. Right.
Kitty cat.
Oh, yeah, you have kitty cats. Very insistent on wearing long sleeves and long black pants today, but we went to the playground earlier, so I made her change into a tank top. Yeah, black on black.
Black and black.
Very
And
nice. And pink. And blue socks. All right, so we're just gonna wait probably like 2 hours for that, and we'll check in with you in a little bit. So they have this fall into magic thing going on. They have some extra food items, and I'm looking for decor, and I haven't really seen any yet, but we're gonna keep our eyes out. Time for breakfast. It's a hot one. It's definitely a hot one. There's one thing I learned living in Florida: don't take for granted the cool days because they are far and few between. It's nearing the middle of October, and it's in the 80s. It's pretty humid, so that's why we come in the mornings and have our water and frappuccino. We're on the little carousel. It opened early today, and one of the cast members told us about it, so here we are. It's our first ride in a really, really, really long time. Woohoo! Hi. Goofy's Candy Company. Yum yum. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. This is about all we're seeing of fall decorations in the stores, but that's still cute. This is the Daily Poutine, and they have some pretty tasty poutine, and I just noticed they had a Oktoberfest one. Some seasonal things going on. I wouldn't mind trying that next time. All right, so it's about an hour and a half, maybe more later, and the bread has done its thing in the bread maker. So just gonna spray down our loaf pan. she's wiping off our cookie dough. And I think we're going to bake the cookies after the bread because timing with supper is just not gonna work otherwise. So we got our little loaf, and we just talked to Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt Steph. Are you having fun squishing that? And this is actually the first time I'm making this loaf with this particular flour instead of regular whole wheat. They only had white whole wheat a few weeks ago, so I've been using that in the English muffins, and I noticed that the dough is a lot softer, and the same is true in this case. So here we go. We're going to cover it with some paper towels. That's gonna rise for about 45 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like right before we put it in the oven. And here is our risen bread. That looks nice. I'm just gonna pop that in the oven for 25 minutes and let it cool a bit, and we will try it. All right, so the bread is about to come out of the oven, and we scooped our first tray of cookies, so I'm gonna grab the bread. Here's our bread. I'm gonna put these in while I've got the oven open. Don't touch anything. All right, so the bread needs to come out right away. That was easy.
I already did that. What did he do?
No, it's gotta cool down. Now we will.
Put a bit on that.
We're gonna put our second batch of cookies on there, and we'll check in with you in a bit.
We should have some bed now.
We're gonna have some bread now. Okay, it's mostly cool, so
I'm going to get my plate.
I'm gonna cut off a tiny slice. Good. I'm gonna just.
And my plate.
In your plate. Okay, take a bite. Let me know what you think. Can I have a bite too?
Yeah, I found it. Tommy. Yeah, I found it. Tommy.
There you have it. It's yummy for her tummy. All right, so after we finish this slice, she's gonna go up for a bath and bedtime.
And take a bath and go to bedtime and go party.
Yay! That is our routine. Good job. We were driving past her school the other day, and I pointed it out to her, and then she sounded a little sad that she wasn't able to stay and go. And so I reminded her that when she eventually does go back to school, that David and I won't be there. She'll be with her friends and her teachers all day. And she's like, "Oh, so you and Papa will be home? I will need a car so I can drive myself to school." I'm like, no, I think we can swing bringing you to school. You don't have to worry about getting yourself there. I just thought it was so cute and smart that she thought about that. All right, so we will end it here, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.
I got my bed.
And you got your bread.